Welcome to another exciting episode of Pete Fritz Anxiety. Welcome and our guest yet again, the one, the only host of Wanda Wonders 906, Wanda herself. Wanda, how you doing?
I'm doing. Life is on the up and up.
So how's it been going since the last time we saw you?
Shoot, the last thing I remember last time is I was trying to smoke weed behind my little name there. But since then, I will be 8 months clean on tomorrow.
There you go. That's awesome.
Just from weed. That's all I really did.
Okay. Still something. I mean, so how's your interviews going?
Interviews are going much better. I was very nervous at first. So if anybody's into podcasting, want to get into podcasting, just know it's like riding a bike. Like first is really scary, but then it gets better. And you meet a lot of cool people. You do. I don't
Yeah.
know how you do it. Like multiple a day though. Like I guess I do see it, but like it's so draining
Mm-hmm.
also.
I was supposed to have like 7 today, but I only got a few now. Everybody had to cancel. I mean, because it's a holiday, so next week I have like 7 in a row. I'm going to run the
How do
gauntlet.
you find a balance between like your emotions and
I pick the conversations very interestingly, depending on what they are. A lot of them, I don't really do many really in-depth conversations. If I am, like the one today is the one I was kind of like, ugh. After I moved it, I was kind of like, I don't know if I should continue doing any others after this. I am going to help a friend out though with hers later on around 3, so I'm probably going to have to reschedule with somebody else, but it's hard sometimes, man. It's draining. Like, the things that you talk about, these subjects are just get rougher, man. Especially, when you're talking about a 12-year-old kid that we're going to talk about after this interview. Whew, it's going to be a rough conversation just because that kid's 12 years old. She had a whole life to live and now she's gone, and we're going to hear her whole story. And I got the song and everything already pre-played for you ahead of time and things like that too. So, it's interesting though, because the emails I've been getting lately are people that have been reaching out like, oh, hey, I listened to this episode. I found the perfect person. I met this person yesterday, Kevin McNulty. He does a podcast out of Tennessee and he's a coach and everything. And me and him had a fucking blast. And then in the morning, you get some of them are just fucking stinkers. Like the guy in the morning, it was bad. Like when I say like you get people with so far distorted views of things, I
I
just
haven't
couldn't get
had that
behind it.
yet. I
Yeah,
haven't had that
it's
yet.
coming. Well, you don't do as many as I
It's
do, so you
coming.
probably don't process. You'll get it though, and then you have people that don't show up, and then it's like, well, this is
I've
why I
only had one of
pre-recorded
those
always.
so far.
I had one today, and it was a mix-up on the schedule. Apparently, I'm just like, okay. But to me, that's why I pre-record so far out, though, is because if I need it, I have room in case, that way. But that's why I bulk record it. So I'm waiting to see, though. I may get a promotion, so I may have to change my whole recording schedule come the first of the year. So I'm trying to put enough ahead of it that when I make the switch, I can start switching everybody around where I need to be. So, I mean,
I was gonna ask you,
it's okay.
do you still do lives?
Not anymore right now. No, I've chosen not to. I just don't have the time for it. It's too much going on, man, because not a lot of people showed up. And I was just like, I'll just pre-record it. It's easier for me. So in case something happens, I can go back and edit it, which I very rarely edit some of it. Some of it,
I was gonna
I'll
ask
cut
you
out the
that
parts
too.
where we have like, people with shitty internet connections. Where the internet connection wasn't the greatest. So I had some people that I had to kind of edit out parts of the interview, and things like that too. But it's interesting as always, man. It really is. Well, how was that interview with Dr. Jen though? That'd be fun.
Yeah, that was probably one of my favorites, my top 3,
I
because
loved her. She was awesome.
we were able to talk about what I wanted to talk about, which is BPD. That's what I have. I have ADHD, PTSD, mostly borderline personality disorder, and
Yeah.
we were able to relate a lot, and she just helped me. It was good.
Yeah.
It was good
Yeah. That
stuff.
was good though, because like I said, that was her expert area that she was in. And, her understanding things at a different level most people do. It's an easier conversation than you having to explain everything to everybody the whole way through the conversation. And it doesn't get easier, because a lot of people don't know what that even is. They still have no idea what it is. They mistake it as bipolar, and people get mad about that whole scenario. So, it's been interesting though. I mean, I've had some interesting conversations with people like psychedelics. There's a couple I did episodes of those. Those are fun and things like that too. You got any exciting people coming up?
Right now, I'm on a break because I haven't paid my Riverside, but I'm gonna start back up next month. I should have some money coming in this week, but my last one was really a hit with Diana Colleen, and have you had her? She's on psychedelics, and well, she does the whole psychedelic thing, and yeah, it would just really open my eyes because psychedelics and also hypnosis therapy are something that I've never really considered myself, I guess, because talk therapy worked for me. And it just opened my eyes because I've always been really strongly like if talk therapy doesn't work for somebody, I think that either and I hate that this was my view, that they're not trying hard enough or they didn't find the right therapist, but it just really doesn't work for some people,
It
and
doesn't work for some people.
hypnosis
I mean, that's okay though. There's so many things
yeah,
out
that
there
is
you can do.
okay,
The microdosing
but
helps. The hypnosis works. You know, there's all these different ways to go nowadays. I think that that's a lot of people's view is that when tech therapy don't work, that's it. There's nothing else to do. You know.
yeah, and I'm glad that there's that option out there, like, she said psychedelics is like having, like, a year of therapy all in one session. She said she
Yeah.
purged for 15 hours straight, and I was like, "Jeez."
Well, they
Yeah.
obviously don't let you do it yourself. I know from a lot of the people I've talked to, my interview tomorrow that comes out is with somebody who was doing psychedelics, Christian. God, what is his? I can't remember his last name now, but he was really well informed about it. He knew a lot about these things. He had done the studies, the research, knows this stuff, and it's not something they let you do alone at first, but they figure out what your doses is. And then Susanna, she also did it. She was ex-military. She was talking about
Yeah,
microdosing
that
as
one
well
would
too.
be very interesting. Military,
Hmm.
because services for military are very just I watch my ex-husband go through it, and they just throw meds at them, and then they wanna talk about it, like but the person doesn't wanna talk about it, it's hard. So I can really see where psychedelics and hypnosis would work for them.
Yeah. Yeah. So what kind of treatment are you doing now? Just talk therapy only? You haven't considered anything else yet, or you're on the fence a bit?
Talk therapy and medications. I take Adderall, Zoloft, Lamictal, Prazosin, and I've been on those for a while. The Abilify, though, I started not this October, but last October, and I really, really made a difference. But then a year later, I'm 50 pounds heavier, and I'm like, fuck.
Is that a
And
side effect
so
from the drugs, though? Does it say the weekend's a possibility?
yeah, and, so I'm like, "Fuck," because it was really interfering with my life, like, trying to bend over and put my socks on and stuff, and I can't, like, you can't do it anymore. I'm just like, "Wow, this is really affecting me," and so I went down to half of my dose of Abilify, and now I'm on Wegovy, and I'm starting to lose a little bit of weight. I took a GeneSight test to try and find another antipsychotic,
Hmm.
but at this point in my life, I'm also doing mental health court.
Yeah, what's that exactly?
I can't go too much into details because
No,
they
just brief.
even when
Just
I
a
was
brief over in general. Just for somebody, if somebody didn't know what it was, just give an idea overview. Don't tell them exactly what it is, exactly your
okay,
situation, but
it's
just give an idea what it is.
you go into this committee and they vote you in whether they think that you're gonna make the program or not, and the
Okay.
program consists of I have to call every day and do however many drug tests a week. I have to make all my appointments, my psych, my therapy. Group therapy is kinda like extra credit, and let's see, what else? And then we have to do court every other week, and it's for, like, 2 hours, and you watch everybody else in mental health court go and tell their story and check-ins, and it's really intensive.
Believe it.
I think they can also look at your phone and count your meds too, which everything's good, everything's going really well. She said, "Keep doing what you're doing, and you'll fly right through the program."
That's good though.
Yeah, it's 2 years long. It's very intensive.
But what happened that you got on it? Can you say, or is that no area to go?
Well,
If you don't want to say, you don't have to.
there was one time I didn't take my medication, and when I don't take my medication, I get very angry, and
Okay.
I was resisting, and I assaulted a police officer. Don't do
Oh yeah.
that, folks at home.
She's like fucks it up. Don't do what Wanda does. Wanda
Yeah,
says, "Don't assault the cop. He didn't do nothing wrong to you."
he really didn't. Hindsight's 2020.
Yeah. Yeah. So far it's been going good. The interviews are going great. You having a good time doing it?
Yeah, yeah, my mental health is really on the up and up. I don't bash people that do smoke weed, but for me, I didn't know the benefits of, not smoking because I had smoked so heavily for since I was, like, 14, and now I'm 33, and this is 8 months is the longest span of time that I haven't.
How hard was it in the beginning? Pretty tough?
Yes, like, I remember a couple years ago, I also got in trouble, and they tried to do mental health court, and the main thing stopping me was stopping smoking weed, and I was like, "I can't do it, I can't do it," but this time, my son is involved, and, like,
Yeah.
because I'm going through reunification with him too, and so it's like the risk, what do they say? The benefit outweighs the risk or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so really now, it doesn't bother me. I live next to a bar, and I could smell it all the time, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm sure it's very tempting though with the smell of it, but you have your goal in mind of, reuniting with your son. So that's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, we just moved to visits rather than at the agency, they're at my house, and then within the next 90 days should move to unsupervised.
That's good though. I mean, that has to be a good feeling though. I mean, you're seeing improvements and everything as you go and
Yeah,
stuff
I
like that
really
too.
am.
So
And then, in the spring, I'm gonna go back to college.
there you go. What are you going to school for?
I was in office administration, but I wanna switch to graphic design, but I'll
Yeah,
have
that's
to
pretty good.
go.
Right up your alley. I feel that'd be right up your alley. That'd be something you excel at. I've seen the stuff you've done, so
Thank you.
I think it'd be really good for you.
But neither of the schools, LSSU or Bay Mills, don't offer a major in it, so I'm gonna have to go somewhere else,
Like a technical college, maybe.
maybe. I don't even know what is a technical college?
Basically, what they specialize in certain things like that. You know, like they'll specialize in. You know, even at that, a lot of people freelance with that too, and that's really good for you though. You could, do freelancing gigs and things like that and reach out to people. You know, there's a tons of sites that do that. There's a bunch of art communities I know here in Dallas that do it like remotely. A lot of them they freelance work and things like that too. And a lot of people that's what they do, graphic designing and stuff. And a lot of these other production companies you can get into, and and it's, however easy it is for you, it's just be something easy to excel at too. Because like there's a lot of places when I went to school, we were studying the same thing. We were doing website designing and things as well too. So we covered a bunch of different courses. But then I went and did an internship at a printing facility, and that's what the guy was doing. He's building like those little tile boxes, like he had it all flat laid out and everything, and all the dimensions and stuff. And that's all he did all day, and he showed it to me, and things like that too. So it was really cool. So I could see excelling at that. It's pretty, like I said, it's right up your alley. It's something that you already can do now. So I wouldn't see where it'd be really hard. Probably just learning some of the other programs and stuff they use, because there's a lot of the stuff that applies with that too. Because depending on if it's Apple or PC, I don't know. Now with them both being able to interface both operating systems, you're probably going to learn both of them anyways, just to know whatever these people are. Some people go old school Macs. It just kind of depends. Yeah, sounds exciting.
Thank you.
So
What
other than
about
that,
you?
what about me? God, my life's falling apart, so it's all right.
It's not though. You look good and,
It's
sometimes things have to fall apart before they can
I mean, we
blossom.
we can talk about we can get into it. I don't even care. We can talk about it for you. But yeah, it was hard. It's a hard struggle, man. It's like one minute everything's okay, and the next minute it wasn't. It was like living on edge with somebody that you didn't know what was going to happen next, And I talked about this on another show when I was on, and it was an interesting conversation. It got ugly real quick because I was just like, at the moment, it was just like I had told her, I had a plan, and the plan was, she was going to be gone, and then that was it. And this is the first time really telling anybody about this, honestly, openly on this show. I haven't told anybody really about this, but anyways, the conversation went as followed. It was like we got into a disagreement about something else. I don't remember what it was, and then I ended up just telling her. She's like, she got mad because she's like, you always wait till you're upset to tell me about something. I'm like, yeah, because it's hard to tell somebody you thought about taking your life. I mean, it's not like, hey, listen, I thought about killing myself today, just like a casual conversation. It's really not, and it was hard, and when I came to her, her answer was, make me the 13th reason why. This is before she had that operation. She was like, oh, well, hey, I was talking to her. We had a disagreement the night before the operation. I told her about it that night because I was just already upset about something else, that we were having a disagreement on another person, that he was just being like really nice. And I didn't like it. And I told her, I was like, yeah, I don't like this dude. He's like a little too kind of kissy uppy. Oh, yes. Okay. So like that whole thing is like, oh man, I'm like, I'm not okay with that. Like, and I had said something to her, and then the guy continued to do the same thing. And this is right before I went to work because we were all playing a game together, and he just kept getting graphic. They had to pull it because people were so upset, and people are like, "What on earth is?" And like, if you haven't seen it, you're watching this girl literally just commit the act, and it's just you're watching it. Like you're not. There's no buffering it. There's no assuming what's happening. You're literally watching this young lady go ahead and commit suicide right on the camera. Even though it's fictional, it's very traumatic for people to see. You're watching this girl cut her wrist in the bathtub, and she's just sitting in there, and you're just watching her bleed to death, and it's just like, holy shit. And then Netflix is like, well, I don't understand what y'all getting upset about. I don't know. Maybe the fact that you just had somebody committing suicide right there in front of the camera. It's like, I get that you put the warnings ahead of time, but that's even traumatic for a lot of people. It's like, holy fuck, dude. Like, how are you getting away with this? I mean, I know it's Netflix, but damn, dude, it was like, you can't put that out there. That's crazy. Like someone approved this and said this was okay, and I'm just like, what? So she made a reference to that. So and that's what really pissed me off at that point. I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm done. Like I'm just done. And then we started having a discussion a few days later because we stopped talking for a day or two. Even though we're in the same house, we're not talking to each other. we're even seeing each other. I was in the side, staying in the side bedroom or the studio where I was recording all my episodes and things at the time. And, we had a discussion and she goes, well, she made some comment about, oh, I don't want to cheat on you or something. To me, that says that you've thought about it or you've considered the shit. It's like, don't play word games with me and not expect me to get upset. And then she said, well, I'm considering divorce. I said, I'm already there. And I've been there for a while. Truth is, I've been there for a long time. I've just been done. It's just like she had a real bad drinking problem, like really bad. Like you guys don't
Yeah,
even know.
that's hard.
Like it's hard when she drink whiskey. She turned into a whole other person. I think the last time we drank together whiskey, me and her got into a fist fight. We almost turned to like we almost tried to get into a knife fight almost because she was going just berserk for no reason. Like whiskey turned her into a whole other person. So she was allowed to drink whiskey in the house. But mind you, like leading up to this conversation, she's down in bottles of Jaeger, like she's drinking a bottle of Coke. Like you're watching her just kill a bottle, and I'm just like,
That's
this
so
isn't
hard
good.
too because, like, you're not able to connect with your person when they're drinking. It's total disconnection because I have a person and he drinks and it's hard.
Mhm.
So I
Oh, no,
can't.
this is to the extent where, like, you're not sure what you're gonna get said next out of her, and, then you could smell it on her breath and everything else, and it just couldn't stand that smell anymore. It's just like it just aggravated me, so the conversation led to that, and then it was one night she just started taking all my stuff and putting it in the side room, and, she just started texting me, "Oh, I'm putting everything in the side room." I'm like, "Oh god, here we go. I don't know what she's gonna do with my shit." I come home and all my stuff's in the side bedroom, and I was just done. Like, at that point, I was just finished, and then my parents and I had a conversation. They were like, "Hey, listen, you wanna come stay with us for a little bit? You can." Because I told them about it ahead of time. I was like, "Listen, hey, I may need some help getting a place if everything goes wrong where I'm at, just a heads up, this is what's going on. We decided to, divorce." So it's a good idea right now. Like, I don't think it's a good idea because the way everything's been going here, it's gonna turn into a 2-and-1. No, it's not. He's gonna no, I don't think so. So that was my biggest issue, but, then it was just like I said, the drinking just got worse, and it just kept getting worse, and then we were having that honest conversation had come out about how she had made that comment, and I was like, "Oh, okay, so you've considered this then." To me, it's like, that's already done to me, man. Like, she's this person who's like, "Oh, it's okay if, you go and do something and then you'll be forgiven." No, I'm not that type of person. I'm the one and done type. Like, that's it. It's it. There's no forgiveness after that. Like, how can you trust somebody once they betray your trust the first time? It's like, what's going to stop you from doing it again? So it got even worse. And it's just like it just kept going. And then I came home the night before I ended up getting kicked out. And it was like, and it's just, she just had me so stressed out. I'm just like, she was like, "Oh, I'm moving all your stuff." And I'm having a panic attack at work because I'm at work. I can't leave. I went in to help somebody, so I was in there for a while, and I came home, and then everything was just moved in that room, and I was just like, "Okay, whatever." And then she found out that I planned on leaving sooner than the end of our lease because I was just like, "I can't live like this, dude. Like, I'm sleeping one eye open. I'm not sure what's going to happen at this point." She's just like up the edge kind of a little bit. You're not sure if she's going to just snap and just start doing something because she's like bipolar 2, PTSD, bunch of other things. And we had a moment where she had a PTSD moment where I told the little people about it. I made a hint at it, but I didn't say exactly what happened. But what happened is she just switched off. Like, and when people go into that moment, and you may be able to contest to this. So, that once you go in that moment, you don't remember anything. Like she didn't remember anything. Like we were in a fight for the survival, man. She was trying to kill me, literally. She got a knife out of the kitchen, came after me. Like I was fighting her off and shit like that. And that was the first time it was just like, yeah, I don't know if I could keep doing this. This is crazy. And then, you feel guilty because you're enabling her drinking because she's just going to town. Like, she's getting buzzed and then she's driving with the little one in the car too. And I was just like, I just can't be okay with this. This is just not right. And that's the thing
Yeah,
is it started eating away at you little by little, and
gotta
it
be
just got
draining.
worse. And then eventually it happened. She's just like, get the fuck out. I'm like, okay, see you later. So I
See?
packed all my shit and I just started going. So she called the cops and I was like, no, this ain't happening again because it happened before. My ex, she called the cops and the cops told me to leave. I came home. She took everything out of my house. Everything in the house was gone. Only the heavy items she couldn't carry were still left in the house from my ex was, so I had flashbacks of that, but I didn't give into it like I normally would have. I had to, take a deep breath. She was getting in my face and trying to get me upset and shit like that, and it's just like, oh, it was mental anguish. Like every day I'd go to work struggling, like trying not to freak the fuck out. People knew I was having a lot of problems. Only very few people knew what the problems were. And one of my coworkers knew about it because I was talking to her about it on the side, and she was like, "Dude, I'd just get the fuck out of you." So
Yeah.
that's when my parents had approached me and they're like, "Hey, listen, you come stay here temporarily while you get everything figured out." And I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds good." And I just left. And then ever since then, it's just like it's the hardest thing ever, though. Even though you leave, it's like it's so hard to erase. I'm like, I just now changed my wallpaper picture to what it is now, but beforehand, for a lot of people it sounds weird, but it was her and I, our first date we went on, and it was still in the picture, and it was hard to take it off. But, everything has happened. It's like, you were still connected to this person in some way. And the only thing now that connects is that we're still married, which we're going to file for divorce for that too. So, but other than that, yeah, I'm in a better place now. It's a lot less stressful every single day. I'm getting myself in a better position. I'm going to get my own place eventually here in a few months. I'm just trying to get repositioned to do it all. But, I've been using my parents' studio now. It's a record in their office here, basically. So Mondays and Tuesdays, usually that's what I'm doing, or I'll let them know if I do anything outside those. But yeah, other than that, it's been a lot better now, man. It's been rough though. It's hard. It's hard when you have to put on this front that everything's okay, and you can't tell people the real story. And now I can tell you what really happened. It was just I went on another show. Yeah, it was a shit show. I was on
I
there just
can
talking about all my problems.
I can only see you going up from here though, really. I don't see anything
We're
holding
at
you
we're at
back.
over 3,000 downloads for the show, so, we're looking good number-wise, and, I mean, I'm not really worried about the numbers, I'm just checking to see, but yeah, I'm still booked fully out to February at least. I'm waiting to see if I have to switch my schedule around, because if I get a promotion at work, which means more money, stuff like that too, but yeah. Yeah, I see I'm gonna be up and up at this point. I've got a lot of things planned for this year. I wanna do some suicide walks and things like that in 2026, meet up with some other podcasters from around the area. There's actually found out there's actually 2 other people that actually live in this area that are both one's in the east side of Dallas, and the other one, the lady's the mother-daughter duo, the one I'm helping right now with the mom co-host because the daughter's pregnant, so she's on bed rest. But the girls from Looking Through the Glass live here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area with me. One lives a little further north, I know that much, but the daughter lives in like the Dallas area. The mom lives north of that. So we're all talking about getting together, me, her, and then Melissa Hapner from Emotionally Unavailable. We're talking about doing something like a big
Oh,
meetup. So
love her!
yeah, I
Love
missed
her.
out on the interview the other day with her and Looking Through the Glass because I had something else I had to do, and I missed out on the interview, and I was like, damn. So, and then the other one was supposed to be somebody else I knew too. I came in and we had to reschedule because the mom was having issues. She has a lot of seizures and stuff, so she uses cannabis to help with the seizures and stuff. So I know she's been having a lot of trouble lately. So I've been keeping in touch with her to see how she's doing to help her out where I can to help her get through the other shows until the daughter comes back. So I'm kind of doing double duty right now. So and then
That's
we are
really cool. So
also
you're
talking about
co-hosting?
yeah, here and there when I can help her. Yes, I'm trying to. I know she's actually talking to somebody today with Susan Snow, the author of The Other Side of the Gun. So I know Susan well. I had her on the show. We had a great time when we discussed everything. So it'll be nice, and it helps her out because she's still new too. But she's got to kind of take it easy. So I think that's what she struggles with. She's got to find that balance of what works for her. So
Yeah.
but yeah, we're talking other ideas. There's another show in the production works. Me and 2 other podcasters are talking about it. Maybe a foursome. We're not sure yet. We had a couple ideas of the names. First one is Try Everything But Podcast. It's going to be just the 3 of us getting together. And the idea is like you can ask us questions and we're going to respond in our own way. We may have a fourth for it. We're not sure yet what his deal is. We like to call him the International Man of Mystery, but yeah. So we've had a couple ideas and some. And the original title though was "Fucking Nuts." Always makes me laugh and trying to because that's what our Instagram chat is called. It's called "Fucking Nuts." So all of us are in there, and we're talking about different guests. Now they run an addiction podcast. Jay Bush runs Rock and Recovery, and Jasmine, I don't know what her last name is, but she runs Everybody's Addicted, the show based out of Canada. And she has a TV show which I was on. My episode aired
Oh,
like 2 or 3 weeks ago, so it was kind of cool.
that's very cool. And also, you got the You Matter Society going on. I haven't checked exactly into it, but I get the emails.
Yeah, yeah, it's like we're trying to retake the internet basically. I'm trying to keep that safe space where people can come and post about things every time. It's not really active right now, but it's still the early stages. So what I mean, it's still something in the works, but it's something that's really I'm proud of. I invite new people all the time. New people join all the time. I think we're up to like 38 members in the first month, which is not too bad, honestly.
Is it like a forum?
It's like a message board, basically. Jasmine and everybody else, you can offer classes and stuff. So Jasmine offers classes and things in there, and other people, I invite them all to like give me different classes they want to offer. There's different pages they can definitely you can talk about. I think the water cooler is just a general conversation space. There's an addiction space. There's like the ones where I kind of been changing up a little bit, but there's one like the podcast guest host thing like that in case somebody wants to post something about something in there, and it's kind of like old school messaging boards. It's like a lot of people are moving from the internet to moving to these communities instead because now you can police them a lot better than you can say Instagram or anything else because all the shit that's out there is just it's so hard, man. We have so much disinformation about shit going on out there, and then you have people that share their stories and they get attacked for sharing their stories. Like, I had a girl that said she had 17 medications, telling her to go to the mental hospital. She's like, "Well, I guess what? I've already been there. Too late." And it's like, it's the kind of shit we don't need, though. It's ridiculous. It really is. It is, man. It's just, and the one thing that irritated me the most was this girl. She was 16, getting ready for homecoming, all, the exciting time, posting her dress, written nice dress, looked very pretty in the dress. And these guys were putting these comments, fucking filthy, disgusting comments. Oh, that dress looked great on my floor next to my bed. And some of them had just popped up. And I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Like, this is the problem with the internet, though, is that we allow this shit to continue to happen instead of like policing this shit and say, well, this kid's 16. You're making these comments about a 16-year-old kid. Instead of like blocking these accounts, we continue to let this shit happen. And it's just like, it's disgusting. It's like, what are we teaching these kids nowadays that's okay for right from wrong because you're allowing them to sit here and have to deal with that kind of thing. Grown men making comments to a 16-year-old girl is disgusting. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? Like, if that's a 16-year-old girl, like, get out of here, bro. That's just, ugh.
Yeah.
I can't do the internet anymore.
I
I really
don't
can't.
even do I really don't do TikTok or TikTok Live anymore. I used to love it, but now it's just blah.
Is it because it's toxic? Be honest.
No,
Depends what part you find, though, honestly. I think when it comes to that conversation, too, because a lot of people that's their comments, too. We were live yesterday morning. I was talking to somebody else, and she said, I found the other side. And I'm like, here we go. She said, the other side of TikTok, the part where everybody's just real toxic. And it's like, I don't know why we have to be toxic to each other. What's the point? Like,
I
what
haven't
is the
found
point?
that. I just found like barely any people are in the room and stuff. Like you have your few handful and it's nice to have those people. But other than that, you're just kind of talking to yourself. And I don't like that. I like having an audience
Yeah, no, I
to
agree.
be
It's better
interactive.
it's better when you have people to talk to. I think that's why I stopped doing lives too. Is just kind of just me and the other person. It's like, well, if this is going to be the two of us. I might as well just turn this to an intimate setting and pre-record it. I can edit it if I need to. If there's parts of the conversation that come up, like especially during the suicide awareness videos I did, a comment got made on one of the conversations we had, and the woman was like, "Yeah, I didn't like it," so I just erased it out of there. It's like, well, it's gone. Not even a question. And that's the great thing about pre-recording versus doing the live ones. Like maybe I'll do a live interview here and there or do something live where we all get together and do something that'd be kind of, but I don't think so. I think I'm just going to kind of keep it just really private right now because some of these conversations we're having are just like people can't handle them. They really can't, especially when you talk about suicide. Let's be honest, that conversation sends people scream into the hills. Oh God, because it's like, what do you do in those situations? Grief's a really big one too lately. It's been coming up for me a lot of times. What do you do when somebody's upset? What do you say to them? I mean, that's the hardest part of the conversation. It's like you really don't say much. You just say, "Hey, I'm there for you if you need something." And that's really all you can say at that point. But people feel like you have to have all the right answers all the time, and it's really
Yes.
not the case.
Yes, that's me. That's totally me. Like that's why I have a hard time. Like I am very good at giving a safe space for people to talk, but like I've never had anybody that started crying or anything on it.
Oh my God,
Have you?
you haven't had Tiff Carson yet? Oh my God.
How do
Fun
you
fact,
handle
everybody
that?
listening. If anybody's ever not seen that episode, go watch it. You'll see me start tearing up on camera with her because that was the hardest story to listen to ever in my fucking life. Like, sometimes I'm really okay with it. I just kind of soothe them as best I can. Like, you kind of just go with it. It's hard, man, because when people are upset, like some of these stories they tell you are just jarring. But Tiff's, man, her story about her brother being abused and everything else he was dealing with, and it's a drug addiction he had dealt with on top of everything else, like it was fucking horrible. And it wasn't just the dad, it was the grandfather that did the same thing to him. And, the story was so intense. She was talking about this one part of the room that he'd always go to. And then when he had attacked her, it was that corner of the room. And, you find out later on that it's the fact the brother was abused by the dad, and the dad was using him, and a grandfather was doing the same thing too. And I was like, No, but it's hard, man. They're hard conversations. Like my best advice is just take a deep breath and try and try and soothe them best you can because it's hard. Some of these stories you're gonna hear are just like I know the other side of the gun. The one I'm doing later on today with the other people. That one was hard too. I think I was the
Yes.
first one. I almost started tearing up with her too because it was just like that story was so intense and it's so mentally draining. So like when I'm doing these sets of them. I usually keep them to like now this season I've been changing the format to like 45 minutes to an hour. It just depends where the
Yeah, that's about how
conversation's
long mine
going.
are.
So I change it from just doing an hour to 45 minutes for most of them. Now if the conversation goes longer than that, then it means it was an interesting conversation. Like Kevin McNeely and I almost went for like an hour and a half yesterday, and we were just having a good time, just chatting, because it was just so easy to talk to him. Other people, it's like, you cut it 45 minutes, it's like you barely make it. You're limping to the 45 minutes because they're like, especially when you ask somebody like, "Hey, tell us about yourself," and then they're just like talking about everything but that. It's like, and Kevin said it best. He was like, that's the icebreaker question. He said, "That's a real good question to ask him. Like, who are you? Explain to people who you are that may not know who you are. And he's like, I was telling him about that. I was like, yeah, man, it's like that's the hardest part. Is once you get past that question, it's usually the easiest one because once you get them going, you can get people start talking, and you start feeding off what they say. And it's usually how it works is it's like I usually don't prepare for 90% of these interviews. I'm just really just looking at what they're saying, what they're about, kind of tough subjects, and I follow off of what they're saying, what they start saying, and I'll jump back in and just kind of lead them the conversation and let them do the majority of the speaking because that's the whole idea. It's the whole thing is about them. And then when I go to some of these guest spots, there's one I did recently was on the row right along with me with Andy was the host. Him and I were talking. We were like 2 hours long, man. God, I don't even remember what we even talked about at the conference. He had sent me a pre-list of the questions, and I was like, "Yeah, I looked at them. I didn't really look at them. I'll be honest, I didn't look at them because I was like, I was already prepared because the questions were going to get personal real quick, and I was just like, okay." He's like, "I like to ask a lot of personal questions," and I was just like, that's fine. Let's go for it. Why not? Because a lot of people always ask about me, and I didn't really talk about myself until now. And it's gotten easier for me to talk about it from there, and things like that too. It's so tough, because it's like, when you have to start admitting your faults, it's just, you have to do a lot of looking
Oof.
back.
Yeah.
It's rough, man. It's rough. My
I
kids
usually
are starting to talk to me now, so it's kind of a good thing, I guess, so it is going to the positive side. We did have a great relationship. I was a horrible person to those poor kids. I'm surprised they even entertained a message from me. One of them told me One of them told me she hates me and doesn't want anything to do with me, but then started messaging me the other day. So I'm like, I'm pretty sure she's upset, but I can't say that her feelings aren't valid for the way I was acting and the way I was. And it's just, yeah, I was not a
I can
great person.
I can say from personal experience, no matter, like, what kind of parent you are, with a grain of salt, like, my mom was shit, and I still
Hmm.
want to have that relationship with her. I still, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, that's one of my things this year. I think I'm gonna try and reestablish that because you don't want to get to that moment of like, what if I tried to do something different and just kind of, because when they're gone, they're gone. There's no if ands buts about it, and that's the same way I thought about it with them. It's like once I'm gone, I'm gone. Like I don't want them to be like sitting there doing the what if. Like what if I tried to make something happen out of nothing? Even though he was a horrible person, and I'm not the same person I was before. So that's the hardest part is to show people you don't change, and especially with people with addiction go through that a lot too. It's like you get a lot of people that just start waiting for you to fuck up, and they're sitting there watching for you to do it, and it never gets easier. But people think that sitting there and scrutinizing them is the best way to go, and it's really not. Just, understand these people are trying to change, even no matter what the situation is. It's hard. It really is. So I'm grateful at least they messaged me back. I mean, like I wasn't even expecting that. I messaged them about Christmas and I got a response. So I was shocked I even got any message. I didn't get told go fuck off somewhere. So
Yeah. How
could
old
have
are
been
they?
worse. 16, 14, and 14.
But they're at that age. Everything's hard. Everything's
Oh yeah.
complicated.
Oh, I believe it. My oldest came to me and told me I got a picture of her and her girlfriend. And I was like, okay, well, that's cool. It's like, that's not going to change the way I feel about you.
Yeah.
She always like tested me like that before. And she was like, oh, well, I'm think I like girls. Okay, cool. Do you want me to love you any differently? I don't know what that means. I'm really not sure what you want me to say. No, you can't do that. Like, but no, she said, her mom said they're doing good. One of them got on the honor roll. So, and things like that as well. And I've been apologizing to people. And it's not for to get forgiveness from them. It's for the thing that I just have to forgive myself for what I did. And it's the hardest thing. It's like, I think that's the hardest part though about it is that you have to accept the fact that some of these people aren't going to be okay regardless of what you say. But you can't do it for that. You have to do it for yourself. And all you can do is just seek forgiveness for yourself and say, I'm sorry that I did these things, and all this other stuff. And just accept the fact that some of these people are just not going to be okay. Like, whatever you did, it may not be, I'm sorry, it's just not going to fix it for some people. But, at the same time, you can't do it for them. You have to do it for yourself. And I think that's the hardest part I deal with all the time, though. So it's very fair, Wanda. So what's coming up? Anything good coming down the line? Anything exciting you got planning?
I can't I honestly can't think of anything right now. I feel
Right on
like
the spot.
I I feel like I go through these bouts where the beginning of the month is great, I'm really on the up and up, and then at the end of the month, I'm just kinda like, like, don't really like I was telling you, I don't really, socialize, I don't really put anything on my calendar, stuff like that. I don't know if anybody else is like that, but I'm definitely like that. I don't know, it could be I'm also diagnosed with PMDD. I don't know what it stands for, premenstrual dysphoria disorder.
Sure, that's a good question.
It just really messes with my jam, my vibe.
You said PMDD?
Yeah.
Let's see what it says. I'm looking at Perplexity right now. Uh, premenstrual dysphoric disorder, a severe form of premenstrual syndrome that causes significant mood and physical symptoms for a period. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
so, like, the last 2 weeks, definitely of the month, I'm kinda just like, "Meh."
Yeah, fuck
But
people. I agree.
yeah, basically. But when I get my Adderall, I'm like it's a totally different person. I feel, like, productive, I feel creative, I feel like I wanna, like, talk to people, but,
Yeah.
that's what it does.
Yeah, it makes sense though. I mean, that's awesome though. I'm happy you're still doing it though. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I mean, like I said, the conversations do get interesting after a while. I mean, they do get hard. I'm trying to mentally prepare for this one right after this one, honestly.
You got this, you got this. You're very I
I
haven't
know I got this. It's just
yeah.
hard, man, when you gotta talk about like a 12-year-old kid and just oh god. These conversations never get easier, depending what it is. And then I have another thing planning. That I'll give you a little preview of it. It's a girl I had on. She had to explain to her kids that dad committed suicide, and explained to them that dad shot himself. Like she told them everything, but the way she explained it to him was the colors. Like she's explained like he saw different colors. Those kids, two of the kids, the older two, have already agreed to come on the show. They're going to talk about their own experiences of what it's like after dad had taken his own life and how it is people perceive it. So I asked their mom, I said, listen, hey, ask them, because she was making posts with them talking about what it's like not having their dad around and how people treat them differently and how people act around them when they find out that their dad committed suicide. So I wanted to get their perspective on
Yeah,
what
because
it's
you really
what it's
don't get
like.
that.
So they agreed to come do it. I said we would figure it out here within I think the next month we're gonna do it. I was just trying to figure out what's the best time for the kids to do it. But the older two out of the three said they would be okay with doing it. And I was
How
like,
old
okay,
are they?
respect. God, how old are they now? One of them's like 17, I believe. I know one's really older, and I believe the other one's really younger. I know that much because I've seen the picture. I've seen the video of the little girl talking, and the older son had talked. I just know the youngest one wasn't too sure about how they felt about it, and I was like, that's okay. Listen, I was just like, I just want some perspective of what it's like
Yeah, because you
since they're
really
already
don't get that. You really don't get that out
well,
there.
their mom is a very big advocate into that whole thing after the husband took his life and things like that. And then I saw the videos of the kids and I messaged her. I said, hey, listen, do you think the kids would be interested in being guests on the show? I said, here's my idea. We have them come on. We'll just, have a conversation, see what their thoughts are from when the time they found out when dad had taken his life to now, what it's been like as people treated you differently when you tell them that, just get their perspective of what it's like for a kid that's going through these kind of things. And maybe we can give some of these people an insight that, maybe they can teach their kids better. Like, hey, listen, these are things not to do to these little ones. These kids have gone through enough already. They don't need your shit on top of it. And a lot of people don't understand what kids are thinking. It's great to get their perspective on like, hey, what's your thoughts on this? And give them a space to just talk about it, and see like how open they are, especially the older one, the son. I kind of want to see what his opinion is. He's 17. He's right at that young age, becoming a young man, become an adult. And it's like, what are your thoughts? What has it been like when you tell people that question? You're like, hey, listen, my dad took his life. Like, what do kids say to you? Because like, we all know kids can be harsh. So I was wondering what it is like, they were, and I've seen the videos, these guys are talking about it. And I was like, okay, well, maybe they'll be open to come on and, discuss it like I did with their mom. and everything like that. And their mom said it was okay with her. She didn't mind. She said, let me ask them. And I was like, okay, cool.
That's
So it
fucking
is something
rad.
I'm working on. I'm working on something there. It's a little something that's coming down the line and things like that too. We are fully pre-recorded till 2026. So I do have like 2 interviews I have to post to put us into the second week of January. So I've been spending a lot of my time looking for more interesting stories. I know next week I have guy used to edit for CNN, who's coming out, an award-winning editor. He's worked with Wolf Blitzer. He's going to be on next week, so that'll be fun to do too.
Where'd you find him?
He's on Podmatch as well. Swish everybody. No, but I found some bunch of other interesting people and things like that too. I've been trying to keep it interesting. There's a lot of people's stories I'm trying to get told and things like that. I'm reaching out to different people all the time. Like I said, I got that email from Joseph, who's the next person I'll be talking to. Like he reached out to me and then I reached back and said, listen, let's do one better. How about let's bring you on, get a backstory with the song, behind the song and everything, get the story about Delilah and figure out who she was as a person because, 12 years too young, she had made this decision. Maybe we can discuss and highlight the fact that who she was and the song that you guys had created together, which I gave you the preview, which is available everywhere if you want to check it out. It's called Weird Hearts.
Yeah.
So it's an
Once I
interesting
heard her
song.
little voice is like,
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, man. It's a hard conversation, especially at 12 years old. It's like, that poor girl was so young. So I'm kind of curious to find out what happened. If anything, anybody knows anything about it, And Joseph, what he's doing working with these kids is just great, man. Music's a great thing to get these kids. It's a great outlet for a lot of these kids to get into. So it's going to be interesting to hear his story here pretty soon, about like, how he got into it, who he is as a person, like, the whole, because it's a whole music school they're a part of. So it's kind of interesting to see, to hear the story about Delilah and the thing that Joseph's doing with them and everything like that. And he had asked me to shed some light on the song and things like that too. So, and things like that. So, it's going to be an interesting conversation, needless to say. And then, there's plenty more coming. There's a lot more I
yeah,
can't
you're
tell you
doing
about.
good
There's
things,
some
Pete.
really, there's pretty crazy ones coming too. There's one I'm still trying to hear back from. The one told me she was trafficked as a kid. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Because I did that summit thing and that was pretty cool too. I got on there with them. Turns out that the woman who is introducing all of us on the panel, I wasn't a part of, I was part of the panel. They were pitching me. And this is weird because it's like these people are pitching me. I'm not pitching them. They're pitching me. And then the woman who's introducing us all has Golden Globes sitting on the desk. Like she just got one just sitting there. And there's one in the background just sitting there and she's totally cool. I'm like, the fuck is going on here, dude? Like, I didn't realize I was a part of the panel members until I got there and they said that. They're like, oh yeah, you're going to be on the panel. I'm like, well, this is going to be an interesting time here. So. But I got a lot of interesting people coming from that too that I met. I met like 50 people overall. So I got at least 40 to 50 different people, that I met that are going to be guests on the show coming up too. So that's been fun too. So, and that was an exciting time too. But all these other people that are in front of me were like well-respected people. One woman used to book for CNN, Jerry Springer, Oprah Winfrey, a lot of these fucking big names. And I was just like, oh.
Man, dude, you
I was looking at
are.
like some of these people. I was looking at some of these people, and they're just like their resumes would just put us to shame. I'm like, okay,
Shit, since I've met you, you've just always been on the up and up. Just going. I'm excited to see where, life takes you. I really am.
I'm excited too. I feel like there's something coming. Hopefully, maybe I'll quit my job one day and just do this full time. You never know. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's still a dream. We'll see what happens though. So let's go ahead and wrap up this episode of Pete versus Anxiety. Wanda, thanks so much for coming and hanging out with us. Before we wrap up, let's ask you the main important question though: is if your
Boy.
mental health had a song, what would that song be though? Hot damn, we need the answer. We need to answer. We need to have you add your answer to the archives.
Can I say, I don't know what the song, just Cake by the Ocean comes to mind.
Cake by the Ocean. Oh, you mean Cake? Yeah, that song. I can't. What is it? I think it's Camp by the Ocean. I think is what it's called. So I didn't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
So if you had
Maybe
one
that.
message to the world, what would the message be, as we sign out here?
Shit. No matter how old you are, you can always recover. You can always find yourself. You can always start new. You can always start fresh, no matter how old you are. I've seen it, that.
Well, thank you so much for coming to hang out with me again. I appreciate it. It was great catching up with you, hear what you're up to. Guys, go check out Wanda. She's still out there. Her stuff's out there. She'll be back at it next month, she said. Go show her some love. Let her know you saw her on Pete vs. Anxiety. And as always, I'm Pete vs. Anxiety. I'm on Spotify all the way down to Pandora Radio. That's why, by the way, I'm on Pandora Radio too, by the way. I'm on Spotify. I'm on X all the way down to TikTok. And as always say, it costs nothing, absolutely nothing to be kind to somebody. One kind act you could do could save someone's life, or hell, you can make their day. I'm Pete vs. Anxiety signing off saying, don't ask how your day is today. Say, hey, how's your mental health?